Ashok Ashutosh Warikar is obviously a very, very good filmmaker. Right? He has made some really great films. Prakash Rai. So, I mean, so actually, India, one of the great things that has happened, and perhaps that kind of goes to the heart of your question. In last, I'd say 10, 12 years, some absolutely fabulous directors have come in Indian cinema. Okay? Some of them in more mainstream ways, like Prakash Jha, or say, the person I think is one of the best is Vishal Bharadwaj.
Okay.
Or others who are come to stay, who chose to stay more in the art domain, like Anurag Kashyap. And there are many more. And so I think it's a very exciting time for Indian cinema. When there is an exciting time for a cinema, for anything, in this case cinema, or any art form. So whenever there is an exciting time for something, it cannot be stopped. So somebody trying to step on your toes may gain some advantage for a short time, may delay you, but it's not going to stop you. And it's a very important thing to remember, that a thing whose time has come will break free. And mark my words, Indian cinema is on the verge of breaking free. How many great directors, from Sujoy Ghosh or Sujit Chorkar, I mean, just this year, if you see the kind of, this year meaning I would say last year, 2012, which is when Chittagong released, the number of fabulous films and fabulous filmmakers that came in is a testament that Indian cinema is ready to break new grounds. And who can stop that? So, Swadesh or no Swadesh? And by the way, I wish I could drive the car which Shah Rukh Khan drove in his Swadesh. NASA scientists or engineers don't get to drive such cars. Things are moving, and I think the biggest testament to that is the fact that somebody like Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan came for the premiere of my film, and both of them went on record saying that they wish they were part of this project. So I sincerely wish that they meant it, because I think the time has come for some people like Shah Rukh Khan to do other kinds of roles beyond that plastic romance that he does, which he does fantastically well, and I love that. But I think he can do far more than that. And I think this is my feeling, that Indian cinema is going to use Shah Rukh Khan in ways we haven't seen him before.
Do you have some plans for that?
Well, as they say, man proposes, producers disposes. But, I would love to actually work with him. I'd love to work with him in a different way, not the traditional Shah Rukh Khan way. Because I think Shah Rukh Khan's full potential has still not been utilized. I think everybody pretty much knows that. He hams. He's lovable, but he has a lovable ham. That you should take up. So, it's a very good question again. I think my point was not so much about Oscar. And it's about getting recognition outside. Take a look at Nobel Prize.
Okay.
And you'll see the same thing. In general, you see, and Khan actually, this was the first time 3 movies were there.
That was the case.
Now, also you have to realize they were not in competition. Okay? They were just screened. They were not in the competition. So it is very strange for me that, when's the last time an Indian has won anything in Cannes? Don't get me wrong, Anurag's movie, Gangs of Wasseypur or Miss Lovely by Asim Ahluwalia and the other film which I'm forgetting right now. They were all great films, very well received in Cannes. But the point is that when did somebody win something in Cannes? Now, the only point I'm making is, not to make it too fine a point about it, is that it is very strange that a film industry that gives birth to 1,000 films a year still is in this state. Even if, say, Anurag won Khan,
Okay.
it still doesn't change the situation that there's only one Anurag, there's only one Rasool. Why not, every year in Oscars there's some Indians who are, who are nominated at least. That's the point I'm making, that I think even in terms of our publications, what's our publication rate? Versus, let's say, look at the publication rate in journals of, say, China. China have long outstripped us. Okay? In every sphere, like, Indians are supposed to be great in making software. Well, where is our operating system? So every sphere you look at, and of course there are other things, like for instance, I would say that the poetry which, say, Faiz Ahmed Faiz had written, or even what Gulzar has written, is worthy of getting a Nobel Prize in literature. But we haven't because of translations and so on. So there are those problems as well. I'm not discounting that. But I'm making a general point that given our population, given all the stuff that's happening, we don't count in the international international recognition space. There are many reasons for that, but it is a fact that we are not excelling in that situation. And my point is that not so much that Oscar is, I won the Oscar and that's it. My point is to excel. Okay. That we need to put ourselves on notice that we have to excel. After that, whether a prize comes or doesn't come is a different issue.
Okay.
We'll create our own Oscars if necessary. But where is that excellence? Where is the search for excellence, quest for excellence? Where is the qadar for excellence? Why is it that somebody will be happy with saying that it chalta hai? That's my point. That we should not be happy with what exists. As soon as you're happy with, okay, this works, you'd stop innovating. I think we have to have that urge to innovate, urge to excel, urge to outdo ourselves, set new standards. Yes, your question is very valid. Why should we even use Oscar as a standard? We should use something higher than that as a standard. But let's do that now. That's my point. Well, I didn't make this up for a hobby. One doesn't put in $1.4 million to exit the system. No?
Okay.
No, I am here to stay, to be absolutely honest. I want to make films because I've always wanted to tell stories, and I've always wanted to tell stories visually. That's what filmmaking is all about. I am here also as a scientist. Once you're a scientist, you are a scientist all your life. You can't stop being that. It's going to be a very interesting thing to see how I balance my scientific career, or all the scientific studies that I want to do, and lots of work that actually I want to do on image sensors, because image sensors have come a long way. It's so great that you are capturing me in Canon. The technology behind it was created by me, or by four of us. But there is a lot more to be done. Simple example. What the latitude or the range, or the intensity range that a human eye can see? It's about 1 million to 1. What's the range which these sensors can see? Maybe 60,000 to 1. So we at least have another factor of 30 or 40 to go before we can say that we are comparable to human eye. So I want to do that work. So it's going to be an extremely interesting thing even for me to figure out how I do the film, and how I do the films that are meaningful but still are successful at the box office. How I make films that are simple and accessible, and at the same time carry on with my scientific technical career. Only time will tell. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I would always say that whatever your passion is, you should just go for it, and life will take care of itself. There is a saying in Bollywood that अगर तुम किसी चीज को चाहते हो तो, I forget the exact thing, but what is
Sari kainat.
The universal will exactly. That the universal will conspire to make it happen. So I kind of believe in that. It's very strange. Once you get started on something, things start happening as well. So instead of trying to figure out everything from before, and acha ye to nahi hoga, actually we Indians have this horrible habit. From before we begin, we say, "Are ye to nahi hoga." So just go for it. I think that's one aspect of the work. The other aspect, which is it is kind of being a very proud IITian, and having seen how being an IITian is taken in the West. When you tell them that you're from IIT, they say, "Oh, you're from IIT." That sometimes even has a bigger status than, say, being in MIT. So all that is true, but the fact still remains that in the journal, this, which is how you judge the quality of your research, where are we? We make names once we go to the US, but we don't make names staying here in India. Compare, say, IIT's publication record in refereed journals versus other comparable institutes. You'll find them there far more. I think there are two issues that I want to bring up. One is the question of vision. I think IIT is still, I think most Indian institutions still performing in an ad hoc fashion. That किसी ने पैसा दे दिया, चलो ये project कर लेते हैं. I think it's very important that every department, every section of research has a vision that this is where we want to go in 10 years' time. These are the things that we want to solve. These are the new areas that are coming up, and we want to do it. And then come back and say, and which is the second point, what are the facilities that are needed? See, it's fantastic in IIT now that we have all this internet and everything, and what I was saying that what I was seeing that these kids, I'll call them kids, using their hands and making robots and so on, which is fantastic. But you compare that robot again in the world scale, where do we stand? Right? So I think we have to think about what new facilities have to be brought into place. Like, is it nanotechnology? Okay, fine. I'm talking about from my field, that is electronics and applied physics and so on. That nanotechnology is a very big thing now. What are our facilities for doing nanotechnology work? What are our facilities for doing a fabrication work in CMOS? Right? So I think, once you've set a target that I have to be there in 10 years, then also you have to figure out how you utilize your finances and your resources. And that's where I think we are kind of getting sidetracked. That we don't have a plan of our own to excel here in 10 years. We are just doing things in an ad hoc fashion and adding whatever it seems fashionable. And that's where I think, and this is not just a problem with IIT, it's a problem with India as a whole. As I said, I asked the question almost facetiously, where is our operating system? We should be working on that. Why should India not, with all the software brains, not come up with a operating system that's far better than what Apple has or what Microsoft has? And that's how we are going to excel. Till we have that, what are we doing? We are tweaking something in Microsoft, we're tweaking something in Apple, or maybe even not. Or just writing some codes. So I think it's a question of vision of where do we want to be, what new areas we're going to open up. Till we don't think in those terms, I think it's going to be very difficult for Indians to excel sitting in India.
I think that about that comes. And I just want to say one last thing. You did mention this in your speech or your lecture that you wanted to reach a lot of people. When somebody had asked the question, why Hindi and not Bengali as you wanted to reach a lot of people. I felt that your technology of the CMOS sensor has already reached a larger audience than you can ever imagine.
That is very, very true.
I think that's a career, that's a successful career right there.
That is very true. Yes.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
I
much.
hope you get to edit.